This is TWiT.
Nest is done as according to Ron Amadio at Ars Technica, as a standalone Alphabet company. It's merging with Google. How do you think, Stacy, this is your beat, how do you think that changes what Nest's up to, and why would they do it?
I think this is a face-saving effort. So, 2014, they bought Nest for $3.2 billion. Waha! That's a lot of money. And so far, according to, I think, CNET, they did an interview, Nest has only sold 11 million devices. So
they're not making their money back, that's for sure.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
And so the idea, they're spinning this as, oh, we're going to be closer to Google. We're going to have access to their AI, and this is going to allow us to better compete with Amazon Echo and, I guess, HomePod. But this really is just a face-saving thing. They had access to Google's AI chops. Nest Cam has had that in it for a couple months. They've been putting Google Assistant on Nest Cam. So my hope is that if they do this, they will help Nest maybe launch cheaper products, because that's one of the things holding Nest back. And then two, somebody brought up, and this is a really good question, they were like, so when Google bought Nest, we really cared about what was going to happen to our data. And Google said, we're not touching it. So what does this mean?
Oh, that's why they kept it separate.
Well, it's one of the reasons. But I emailed Nest, and here's what they said. Ta-da, this is from Matt Flagel, who's a Nest spokesman. Nest users' data will continue to be used for limited purposes described in their privacy statements, like providing, developing, and improving Nest services and products. But here it comes. As we develop future plans and future product integrations, we will be transparent with users about the benefits of those integrations, any changes to the handling of data, and the choices available to consumers in connection with those changes. So basically, keep an eye on the TOS.
What do you think it'll amount to?
I think you could do things like, if they have access to who's home and data from like the Nest thermostat, for example, you have to manually link that to your Google Assistant. It's possible that one day it could just show up naturally. It just kind of gets eaten up into the Google services and happens automatically without you opting in, if that makes sense. And then with the Nest security system, they're going to have a lot of information about coming and going. And that might actually be good, because one of the big challenges with the smart home today is there's not a lot of context about who's in the home and where they are in the home. So presence in the home. So this could help with that.
It's not merely the cost of buying Nests. They had virtually unlimited funds, a huge influx of resources, Ron describes it. It quadrupled employee headcount. It bought DropCam.
Google bought DropCam, but they started the deal for DropCam before Nest was bought.
But
and then
merged
they shoved
it with Nest.
Yeah, and I don't think they were happy about that.
Yeah. Tony Fadell left 2 years after the DropCam acquisition. And at that point, they had two products. They had the Nest thermostat and the DropCam, actually rebranded as the Nest Cam. Since they've added, under their new CEO, Marwan Fawaz, they've added the security system, the $300 Nest Cam IQ, which I bought and you called me a doofus. And it's right behind me. And now I saw it on the Super Bowl, a Nest ad for a doorbell.
Yes. They also had actually a smoke detector. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. The one you waved at it and it disabled it permanently. Yeah, that was good. That was useful.
In case while your house was on fire.
Yeah.
They fixed it.
Yeah. When you hear a sound from the smoke detector, wave at it. We just won't bother you again.
So, but,
They fixed that, by the way. That was an easy firmware fix. Hardware, software, and services will be combined according to Google. All built with Google's artificial intelligence and assistant at the core. I guess this makes sense. I mean, according to the Journal, they'd already combined their supply chain teams 2 years ago.
Oh, well, then they're not going to lower prices. Dang it.
No benefit to that, yeah. What do you think of the Nest products? As put your reviewer wig on. What?
This is my reviewer wig.
I thought so. Okay, she's already got it on. What do you think of their products? What do they? I mean, you did call me. I do remember a doofus for buying the IQ. I think you wanted me to buy the Lighthouse instead, which I ended up doing. And they became a sponsor actually, so that worked out.
I think they have they're good products. They're just expensive. Like you can get very similar products for less. And so that's always been the key.
We were all in on Dropcam when it was still an independent company. We still have a bunch of Dropcams all over the place.
Yeah, but the Dropcam started out not crazy expensive.
No, it was cheap. You know what's expensive in all of these, and I had never really thought about it until we set them up, is the bandwidth.
Oh, yeah.
They use if you set them in HD mode, anything that's always on is going to consume a megabit a second all the time. And so you really don't want an always on camera. You want a camera that wakes up sometimes. But all the Nest stuff, I think you can, because I can scroll back in time for my Nest cameras.
And a lot of people like that because the motion detection doesn't always catch things in time and start recording in time on some cameras. So I had somebody who was like, oh, the Arlos are terrible because they didn't catch a burglar, but my Nest Cam did. And so there's trade-offs. Now, the challenge, what we should be hacked off about are bandwidth caps. So
that's true. If I didn't have
let's place our anger in the right place.
But I routinely go over my 2 or 3. No, I have 2 terabyte a month bandwidth cap from Comcast on. So I actually have a second network, which is good for security anyway, for the cameras, because bandwidth is, they just eat up bandwidth. On the other hand, I have to say I do like always on. You're right, because what I frequently do with it is go back in time. By the way, that's good also for the company because you have to pay for storage. They're going to get you a month. Not only are they going to get the $300 for the camera, but they're going to get a monthly fee as you record. Like here's my driveway. I can see, what's going on. Somebody's stealing my car right now. So it's kind of fun though to be able to scroll back through this, and this is what Always On gives you, is this ability. I said, "What? Oh, I guess nothing's happening." No, it's not doing it. Well, anyway, you can scroll back in time. Oh, I see. Here it is. Yeah, it's slow. Again, that's more my bandwidth issue than the Nest cameras. Again,
anger at Comcast.
Yeah, nothing but. All right, so it's not going to change how they do business. It's really more. It's a financial thing. I think
it's just a logistical thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, fine, you guys, you're not doing it. Come back in. Otherwise, because the other option was they were going to sell them.
Does it mean Ruth Porat now starts paying closer attention to what's going on?
I think she's probably been paying close attention to those other bets for a while. Yeah.
So who's in charge of hardware at
Rick
Google
Osterloh.
And at this? Who's the report to?
Rick Osterloh's now in charge.
So it's
Marwan was the CEO. Marwan Fawaz was the CEO of Nest, and now he reports to Rick Osterloh.
To Rick, okay.
Which we don't mind, right? We like Rick.
Yeah, Rick's good. And both Rick and Marwan have telco-type backgrounds. So,
yeah, again, Rick came from Motorola. He was the guy who introduced the Motorola X, the Moto X, which I really liked.